Hi guys, Kim here. Sixth Sun, the Pyramid Effect and the Stars. I'm going to run something by you that I've been thinking about a bit lately, and we have no idea how something that we can do can affect others in this life. You may think that you have no skill in painting, but I lay in a hospital in 2012 in the ICU for days, staring at the worst painting I have ever seen in my entire life. It was a painting of a house in a meadow, and it was all distorted and out of shape, and the colours were dim. I had no idea who painted it, or how it ended up in that hospital. But I began to think about the number of people in this world who'd passed away, that painting having been the last thing that they saw in this life. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. And wondered if the artist had embedded a feeling into the painting to assist those on their journey of passing. The artist may not have been aware of this intention embedded in the painting. They could have just been meditating while painting it, or thinking of how to assist a loved one in passing. My point is we can never really know the effect that we have on this world as a whole. If you're a teacher, for instance, you could say one thing to a 9-year-old that could stay with that 9-year-old until they reach 99, continuously inspiring others by quoting the message that the teacher told them when they were 9. It makes me think of embedded energy as an artistic expression, like a pyramid scheme where you pay in $1 and the person at the top gets 10 million. Whatever you are doing, do not be too hard on yourself. Think instead of the amount of sacrifice you've given over the years. Even if it was a bad effort, at least it was an effort. It is necessary to get to doing what it is that we're meant to be doing at this time. We're living through a very, very special time, and we need to consolidate that which is our unique expression, our life experience, and find our way through to doing whatever it is that we need to do in order to get to the level we can get. We need to completely rid ourselves of the idea that we need to compete or compare ourselves to another. You see, you are unique. Your individual energy is unique. So it's a bit like asking the question, is the blue dress or the red pair of trousers better? Okay, they're both pieces of clothing, like we're all souls, but really, other than that, they're unique to each other. But the comparison that we are not good enough to shine, that holds us back from expressing the unique expression of what we are. So forget the idea of insecurity, banish it. It only makes one feel unworthy and prohibits us from taking the next bold step. Anyway, this thought led me to the word stars and the idea that stars shine. Both kinds do. The stars in the sky and those that act, sing, dance or create in another form. They beam out their inspiration to the world at large on both scales. Then I wondered if stars were stars. This is pure speculation on my part, but I wondered if we were aiming for, in this reality, was to get to the stage, pardon the pun there, and shine. Maybe we come back many times in order for our essence to get big enough to become the star in heaven, and then we beam out that specific unique imprint as an influence from the heavens forever, immortalized, so to speak. I also wondered how come the so-called Hollywood-type stars seem to be gifted with the ability to sing, dance, look great, have enough stamina to carry the audience, or the press, or whoever they're interacting with. Maybe that's what we're here to do. To aspire so high that we can attract so much light that we beam it out to others in the form of inspiration. That we have multiple existences. One where we learn to sing, another where we learn to be a politician, another where we learn to paint, another where, and on it goes. Until such time that we can come back and be a star in this life and beam out our own individual inspiration to many. It's like building a wall of unique talents until we're ready to combine all of those talents and shine. I really think that the music writers and performers know something about this reality that we do not. I often gain insight into the truth of the reality through watching or listening to videos and songs. I mean really listening, not just letting the words or the meanings pass you by as to what it is that they're trying to tell us. I can remember watching a video back when videos originally came out. It was a Jackson 5 video called Can You Feel It? And I think it came out in the 80s sometime. The original video was slightly different. It had a scene of a canyon and it used to have words floating across the screen. Can't find that version currently on YouTube, but one word stood out to me when I saw it. I can remember this one word because I didn't recognize it. So I can remember getting my dictionary out before computers and looking the word up. The word was obfuscate. So if you look at now, the translation of that word in the dictionary is 1, to throw into shadow, to darken, and 2, to confuse. I thought that word was a very interesting word indeed to describe our reality. There were other words floating over the screen, but I can't remember what they were. So back to me watching this video. I felt it was important. There was an insight into knowing about this reality, a cryptic message contained in there, even though it was poorly done as the technology was not out there at that time. But my interpretation of the video was this. I think he was telling the story of creation and what our part as a co-creator is. So the overall theme of the video is, can you feel it? It depicts the chi or prana spreading all over the place, with sparks coming out of the bodies like spreading about. There's also a part where he touches the water and the sparks amplify. One of the things I would like to say is it's very accepted by most now that this energy, this chi or prana, exists, but not back then. No one had a clue. Everybody everywhere was just living their lives purely in the material and being taught to sweep everything underneath the carpet. If it didn't feel right, then there was something wrong with you. Get over it, go out, party, get drunk, and everything will be okay tomorrow. I think there is a depiction of the Matrix in the movie too, with all the lines on it. And I want to talk about the Matrix movie, but I'll talk about that later, as I don't really want to get distracted from the expression I'm trying to verbalize right now. It sort of depicts that he inspires other souls to awaken. Later on, there's the Rainbow Bridge, which I feel is related to us being rainbow warriors. I did a video a couple of months ago called Are You a Rainbow Warrior or Are You Living Beneath the Waste? In this video I talk about the idea of there being a difference between us, using the spectrum of energy contained within us or only using part of it. And that we need to focus our spectrum energy rather than just using our lower chakras to get through this life. So after the Rainbow Bridge section, he goes on to depict some sort of birthing of a new race, and there's something to do with the black sun, and then it becomes a mirror with a peacock feather inside. Personally, I feel this is where we arrive at where there is no race. No need for us to compare our spacesuits, as we will all see each other as souls. We will perceive each one as the essence of what we are, rather than the makeup or the clothes or the mask we are wearing. I think this is the sixth sun. It's a dawning of a new level of conscious awareness, like in the movie Avatar, where they say, I can see you, depicting not only looking at you, but looking in you at your essence. Now what's weird is I talked to my sister last night about sensing this, that there was a sleep component inside of us. It's not visible. It's not like seeing an aura. It's a sense. It's another sense that's coming to the surface. And she said she was experiencing it too. Quite hard for me to describe. It's not a thought. It's not an idea. It's just a visible expression of the soul. visible through this new sense. Like you just know who you are talking to. We're living in very interesting times, and I think it's about time. I think it's about to get a great deal more complex. But within this complexity, what I perceive as ahead is the washing, cleansing, and clearing of that which needs to be washed away. I see it personally as floods washing away the corruption. I see it coming in waves. I wanted to express something about the movie Matrix too. It was one of those movies that had a profound effect on our society. And in this case, the plot of the movie was intended to allow us to perceive this reality was nothing more than a computer program. Do not get me wrong here. I do think the movie was a brilliant movie and perhaps necessary in order for us to begin to expand our perceptions of awareness. There's one big problem with it though, and that was the amount of people that speculated, then integrated the idea that we were just living inside of a computer program. The main actor, Neo, is the one who will save humanity. And this idea of an external form being our saviour is a story told over and over again throughout society in so many different versions. Just coming back to the Matrix again, some of the answers are embedded in the script, but the very nature of it, if taken literally, could be interpreted as if that is all there is. In my personal experience, that is far from the truth. They play with a materialistic world with a materialistic plot that limits the mind to perceive that it is the individual alone that saves the world. It expresses the idea that the individual alone is Superman and can call upon technology to save themselves, a world in which the divine creation is not a very necessary part of ourselves. We are all creators individually, but we are not alone. We are all one. You may have heard my insight into the ego before, but I'm going to read it out loud again, as I think it explains this more clearly. I received this message in 2012 during a near-death experience. When the Divine Creator talked to me about the ego, he expressed to me the problem of identifying too strongly with the ego. He told me that the energy of the ego feeds back into itself and then it sees itself as the creator, as a divided essence, not as part of the whole. It is as if the individuals single-handedly brought forward their perceptions to make them manifest, where perhaps a more correct view might be that the morphogenic field creates with you in combination with the Divine Creator, but the individual may not see it as so. Please remember that technically there is no good or no bad in this realm. There is only our individual perception of it. Where your focus goes, grows. Whatever you're focusing on amplifies. If you're expressing evil, then you're focused on evil. There is no judgment in this. Just be mindful of what you individually are giving focus to. I will link the video I talk about in this session below. And one last thing before I go, I also had another insight when I woke yesterday morning. I was in that theta state between sleeping and waking. I saw a roller coaster. We'd peaked at the top, and now we were going on a ride. And the inner voice in my head told me that we're over the worst. So enjoy the ride. Thanks for listening.